What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Dolphins Daily, your daily dose of Dolphins content with your boy, Chris Kane. Let's talk about the Dolphins. So, we're back in the cornerback market. We've had this whole discussion about Jalen Ramsey, what's going to happen, all that. We mentioned a week or so ago about Rasul Douglas coming in for a secret Dolphins visit. We offered him a deal. He said, nah, I'm going to Seattle. Don't know what's going on with that. He hasn't been signed yet, so I'm guessing that either it didn't go well or the contract is still ongoing. However, there was a report today that said the Dolphins reached out to Asante Samuel Jr. and they're still talking to Rasul Douglas. So it seems like they're trying to figure out which way we're going to go. Now, what I believe this to be, again, don't quote me, what I believe this is public posturing and public negotiation. I think the Dolphins want Rasul Douglas. I don't think they want Asante Samuel Jr. as their primary option. I think they want Rasul Douglas. They brought him in for a workout. They offered him a deal. They have not offered Asante Samuel a deal that's been reported. So I think it's kind of a what would you want to take thing? How's the recovery going? Can we get you in for a workout? There's been no workout that we know about. Could be secret workouts, but they haven't even had an official workout. But they're talking about whether or not he would come. I think Rasul didn't get the offer he wants from Seattle. And I think he's trying to figure out how much leverage do I have. The Dolphins, Seahawks for sure want me. But there are a couple teams out there, teams like Atlanta, teams like maybe a Carolina that may be in the market that haven't really shown interest yet. Do I play my hand and choose a team, or do I stay on the sideline? Because right now he's the most, I would say, in demand, free agent, more or less, cornerback. The problem is, I think he wants to get paid. He's 30 years old, going to his 31-year-old season. And, you don't keep getting big contracts, right? The issue for Asante Samuel is that he's 25 years old. That's actually like the best thing in the world. But he's coming off a shoulder and neck injury. Now, the reports I've read is that they're saying the shoulder injury may not heal like it was before. Like he may never get back to what he was before, and that's scaring teams off. That's actually why he's available in the first place, because as a good corner that's 25 years old, he shouldn't be on the market. People should have been scooping him up already. Plenty of teams need cornerbacks. He's on the market because people are like, I don't know about that neck, and I sure don't know about that shoulder. Now, if you never played cornerback before, you just watch on TV, it's cool. Let me tell you something. You need both of those. You need both of those to play the cornerback position well. Especially if you turn your hips, you whip your head around. Tackling, of course, you need both of those. We've heard this thing about shoulders before as a Dolphin fan. We heard that Drew Brees' shoulder would never be the same again when he got hurt in San Diego, and then he threw for about 70,000 yards after that. So, take that how you will. He may recover, but Drew Brees also is a quarterback versus a cornerback, right? If his shoulder is, let's say it gets back to 80%, and he's constantly throwing his shoulder to make tackles, like, how long is it going to hold up for real? So I think the question is, which way do you go? I think Asante Samuel's asking price should be lower because of the injuries, but in theory it should be higher because he has a 5-year gap between them in age. And the last time they both played, Asante was better. He only played 4 games last year, but the year before he was a better player. He's been a Pro Bowler. He's a probably level 2 corner, meaning he's not your best corner, but he's a really good number 2. Rasul Douglas is probably a middle number 2, high number 3 at this point. But he would be our number 1 because our cornerback situation is not great. So I think this might be the Dolphins putting an offer out to Asante, getting a feel, then going back to Rasul, being like, hey, Asante said he'll do it for 5. You want 10. Would you do 8? And then some back and forth thing. I assume if both parties are really adamant about signing with the Dolphins, then we'll end up signing Rasul Douglas. But that injury concern for Asante is a very real one. And I think maybe for a 1-year deal, I would take a chance on it. Max 2-year deal. And it's going to be heavily incentivized. I'm not giving you 2 years, $20 million off a neck and a shoulder injury as a cornerback. But I would do a 1-year deal and let our doctors put their eyes on the reports and all that. And if you make it through the season, 15, 16, 17 games, and you look good, we can talk about an extension. But the injury concern is why this whole thing is even out here in the first place. If Asante was healthy, he would have already been picked up. But I do think we were maybe expecting a shooter drop with the Rasul thing, and it didn't happen yet. So I think we feel like, hey, maybe our offer is still the best one on the table, because if the Seahawks offered him what he wanted, he would already be a Seahawk. So the fact that he isn't means that they did not. So we'll see. Stay tuned. They released a poll or a ranking of the top 25 players under 25. And of course, the young gunner Devon Achane made the list. We mentioned a couple of days ago that and I want him personally to go for a 1,200-yard season. I've been going back and forth with people on TikTok and the internet about, is that too many yards? He's never even got 1,000 before. I say that because I see the plays that he could have made and hasn't made. I mean, I see cutbacks that weren't made. I see, he just lowered his head and ran to the pile. I see him maybe trying to make a home run play when it's like I just see missing plays on the field. But that's just from my vantage point. But he also sees the same thing. He's talked about it in some of his interviews where it's like, hey, I went back and watched the film and did the audit myself and saw I left a lot of stuff on the field where a guy's behind me, and if I just instead of just running straight or running out of balance, if I just made a cut inside, I could have maybe got 20, 30 more yards. If I follow my lead blocker for a beat longer or press the hole a little bit longer before breaking out, there was a whole gap there, but I was impatient and just ran in there and ran to my blocker. Like, there's plays you see. And that happens when you're a younger player. You tend to not be patient when you're running. Not people. If you don't play football, you don't understand that sometimes blocking happens instantaneously, where you just get a mush and you go. Some blocking you do have to let the blockers kind of get into position. So it's more about, that's why cutbacks are so devastating, because you're going one way while blocking is happening, and then you cut it back against the grain. So the blocking is already taking place. When you're young, you want to cut back, and then instead of doing it with the proper tempo, you kind of get to it quickly because you're like, if I can just get to the cutback, and then you cut back too early. And the block hasn't been made yet. And again, our O-line was bad last year. So it's possible that the blocks weren't even happening on the schedule they should have been happening on because they weren't doing their job. It's also possible that he was speeding the tempo up and he was going faster than they could block. There's a lot of all of that, right? So for him to be a top 25 under 25, knowing he's barely scratched the surface. Again, he hasn't even got 1,000 yards yet. But we can all see the talent. I see a faster Alvin Kamara when I see him. That's what I see. I don't see Jahmyr Gibbs. I don't see Bijan Robinson. I don't see those guys. Those guys have a different... I don't think of Devon Achane as being particularly shifty. I think of him just being good hands, fast, pretty linear. Like when I watch Alvin Kamara, he feels like he's never running fast, but he's running past people. And I feel like he never really gets hit that hard. I don't see Devon getting lit up, even though he's not a big guy. And I feel like he runs pretty effortlessly fast. When I see Bijan and Jahmyr, the way they put that foot in the ground, they cut, they have more dynamic attributes to their game. If he can be a version of Alvin Kamara, that's a home run. And I think, but Alvin Kamara is very patient. That's some of the best part of his game, is that he will run, put his hand on the back, and then break out. He was a little bit more advanced in that part of his career. So I think Devon deserves the accolades. I think he should be on any watch list. He should be on Pro Bowl watch list. I think he should be a fantasy, probably second-round pick, maybe third-round pick, depending on how many teams you have in your league. But he's already proven a lot. He's already shown us a lot. And again, he missed 6 games his first year. So that first season, he may have, given how many home run runs he had, he could have got 1,000 yards that year if he hadn't missed those games. I think there's a lot on the bone there. And hopefully this year, he's talking about it, hopefully this year, he takes a bite out of it. Now, our feature matchup of this episode is going to be Week 4, Monday Night Football, at home against the Jets. I know you're thinking, Chris, who cares about the Jets? Jets are trash. I know. I know. The reason this is a big game is because this is the week after we play Buffalo. And again, that game is at Buffalo, third week of the season, Thursday night. So that means that for this game, we have a 10-day break, and it's on Monday night against a division rival. The first 2 weeks, we played the Colts and we played the Patriots, right? So worst case scenario going into this game, we should be 2-1, just according to how I see the schedule. I don't believe in the Colts, never believed in the Patriots. And then Buffalo, historically, Buffalo is going to win that game at home against Miami. I don't know the last time we beat Buffalo in Buffalo. So worst case scenario, we're 2-1. We have a 10-day gap. You have a televised game against a division rival at home. That's a game to get things back, right? What you don't want to have is 2 division losses in your first 4 games. That would just be, there's nothing good there. You're building uphill. You're 2-2 through the first quarter of the year. That's not great, right? So 2-1, I think, is like the most reasonable prediction. But if we beat Buffalo in Buffalo, then you have 10 days of the media doing what the media does. We know how it goes. Oh, man, is Miami real? Is Tua better than Josh Allen? Can the Dolphins go all the way? Have we written the Dolphins off? Now you have 10 days of media circus. Going into a game against the Jets that you're going to be favored to win. You're at home against the Jets. And the Dolphins historically have let down when expectations got higher. So in the event that we beat the big bully, the rival, at their place, and then you have 10 days of, it's just another game. We're just going to New York, or we're staying in Miami. It's not a big deal. We have 10 days of that circus. And we saw it last year, or 2 years ago, when the Dolphins scored 70 against the Broncos. What? Greatest offense of all time. Is Mike McDaniel the best coach since Don Shula? We started seeing it. And then what happened the rest of the season? We couldn't score. What happened? We started doing this. And people kept saying, yeah, remember they scored 70? Yeah, that was 7 weeks ago. So this matchup is a chance to either right the ship or maintain momentum and not have that drop-off game. But it's an important game because it's divisional. Again, we have 3 division games in the first 4 weeks. We have a chance to go 3-0 in that first 4 weeks and really kind of park yourself in a pretty good position. No matter what Buffalo does the rest of the year, because again, I don't believe in the Jets or the Patriots long term. You go 3-0 in your first 3 divisional games, you're looking at, hey, we're probably in line for a playoff for sure. Let's make a move for the division. If you lose this first game to the Jets and you have to play them like the second to last week of the year in New York, bad weather, expectations, you're setting yourself up for a kind of weird end of the season. I think this is a chance to, again, probably avenge the Buffalo loss. Go put some boots. Go put some boots to the Jets. 3-1 through the first 4 games. Can't ask for more than that. You replicate that throughout the year. You're talking about a 12-win season. You're going to be, if they do the reseeding thing, you could end up being a 4 or 5 seed, if depending on how things go. But this is a really important game. Don't overlook the Jets because they're good enough to trip you up, but I don't think they're good. Yeah, I'm throwing hate at the Jets. It's all good. But as always, guys, thank you for tuning in to Dolphins Daily. We appreciate it. Love and support. Thank you all for the likes, subscribes, comments. If you want us to talk about any particular topics, let us know. We'll talk about it. We'll see you next time on Dolphins Daily. Peace.